Jai Hind students, welcome to physics class of grade 11. In the last lecture, we were discussing the methods of measuring the distances. Now, one of the method of measuring the distance is the echo method. What is then in this echo method? Let us say this is the point where a person is standing and this is a distant object, let us say hill. The objective is to find the separation between the person and the hill. To find this separation, a bullet is fired from the gun in the direction of the hill. What happens? We know that when a bullet is fired from the gun, there is production of the sound. That sound, it moves towards the hill, and after getting reflected, it returns back to the person. Now, if I say x is the distance between the person and hill, then what is the total time covered by, what is the total distance covered by the sound? It will be the x in moving from person to hill, and again x from the hill to the person. So x plus x equals to 2x. And let's say t is the time interval between the firing of the gun and the instant when that echo is heard. Right? If t is the say time taken. Now, we know that distance equals to speed multiplied by the time. So here distance covered is x. If v is the speed of sound and t is the say time taken, then 2x equals to v into t. So x equals to v multiplied by the t divided by 2. So in this way, the separation between the hill and the place from where we want to find the distance can be measured. So this method is called the echo method because it is based on the reflection of sound. Next method is laser method. All of you are familiar with this word laser. Some of you might have used the laser, might have played with the laser since toys are come, because this laser is a very dangerous toy. If its light fall into eye, it can damage our retina, it can damage the sensitive cells of the eye. Now, why laser is so much powerful? Today we are going to discuss this. Now let me tell you what is the full form of laser. Laser full form is light, A for amplification, S for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Now, what is the meaning of the term stimulated? Stimulated means under certain compulsions in the presence of external agency. Now, what the light is, what the laser is? Laser is a source of very intense monochromatic and unidirectional beam. What is the meaning of the term monochromatic? It means which is having the same wavelength. You can say which is having the same color. Now, what is done? In this method, a laser beam is transmitted to a distant object. Let us say it is transmitted to the moon. Let us say this distance is x, and after that this laser light, it will be reflected back, and distance between moon and earth is also x, distance between earth and moon is also x. If t is the time taken in this process, now what is the total distance covered? Total distance covered will be 2x as in the previous case, and this distance equal to the speed multiplied by time. If c is the say speed of laser light and t is the say time taken, then in this case x equals to c multiplied by t by 2. So again in this way we can also find the distance of a nearby object. Now what is the common between echo method and the laser method? The common is that both the methods are based on the reflection. Echo is based on reflection of sound and laser is based on the reflection of light. Next is radar method. All of you are familiar with the radar. So what is the full form of the radar? Full form of radar is radio detection and ranging. So this is the full form of the radar. Now how does a radar work? In this method, radio waves are sent into the space from a transmitter, right? In case if an aeroplane comes in their path, they are reflected back and are detected by detector by knowing the speed of the radio waves and measuring the time interval between the instance of transmission and detection of radio waves. The distance of aeroplane can be calculated, and in this way the radar it works. So let us say if I say that this is an aeroplane and let us say this is a radar station. So what happens? Radar it emits the radio waves in all direction. So one such radio waves it is moving in this direction. If some object is there, it will be reflected back and it will be detected by the radar. If this distance is x, this distance is x, then total distance covered is 2x equal to speed multiplied by the time. So in this case x is equal to c multiplied by t by 2. Remember, whether we are talking about the light, whether we say laser light, whether we say the radar, all are moving with the same speed in air. So because all these are the electromagnetic radiations. Now it is whatsoever the radars we are having, they can find the distance as well as speed and elevation of the aeroplane, that is at what height that aeroplane is above the ground. Now next method is sonar method. Can anybody tell me what is the full form of the sonar? Sonar, S-O-N-A-R. Sonar it means sound. SO stands for sound, N stands for navigation, A stands for and R stands for ranging. Sound, navigation and ranging. Now how this sonar it works? Now listen, with the help of the sonar we can detect the objects like submarine, ships, rock, etc. in the sea. Now how does it works? Let us say this is the ship, and in this ship what we are having? We are having a sonar which is fitted. Now if I want to, let us say there is some submarine which is traveling under the sea, what happens? In case of this, sound waves are emitted by the sonar in all directions. What happens? These sound waves, and what that category of sound wave is? Ultrasonic waves. These ultrasonic waves are emitted by the sonar, and when there is submarine or any other object which is under the sea, what will happen? These will be reflected and they will be detected by the sonar. So what happens if x is the distance between the ship in which sonar is fitted and the submarine, and let us say t is the total time taken and v is the speed of ultrasound in the water. In that case, using the formula, total distance covered is equal to speed multiplied by the time. So x equals to v multiplied by t divided by 2. right? Now in the echo method I have also used the sound, and in this case I'm also using the sound of the type ultrasonic. In that case we were using the audible sound, in this case we are using the ultrasound. Now is there any difference between the speed? Difference of there is no difference between the speed of audible sound and the ultrasonic sound, provided if the medium remains the same. If there is change in the medium, definitely there is change in the speed. Now since here in this case the sound, it is traveling in water, so its speed is higher, whereas in the previous case in the echo method the sound was traveling in the air, so its speed was lower. Now after the sonar method we are having again a very powerful method. That method is called the spectroscopic method. What is the spectroscopic method? One of the limitation of the parallax method was that it was not able to measure the distance of the star from the earth which are beyond 100 light years. Then how we can measure the distances of such stars? The answer lies is the spectroscopic method. Listen, let us say there are two stars, one star is S1 and another star is the say S2. What happens? S2 is a very far away star in comparison to the S1. Now all of us know that both these stars, they are emitting their light, and we also know that intensity of light is inversely proportional to r square. What is the r? R is the separation between the source of the light and the place where we are studying the light. For example, what I wanted to say you, let us say this is the source of the light. If you will stand here you will get more light, and if you will stand here you will get the less light. Why? In this case distance is less, in this case distance is more. Whatsoever the amount of light that we are getting in unit time on a unit area, that amount of light is related to the intensity. For example, if you are sitting closer to a tube light, you will find that light is more, and if you are studying at a large distance from the tube light or any other source of light, you will find difficulty in the reading because the amount of light which is reaching you per unit time, per unit area is less. So that measurement of light is measured by the intensity. Now what we can write from this relation? We can write that I1 upon I2 equals to R2 square upon R1 square. Why I have written? Because there is an inverse relation. Now let us say the intensity of light reaching the earth is I1 and the distance of the star from the earth is R1, and let us say intensity of light reaching earth is I2 and the distance of star, that distant star is R2, right? So my target is to find the R2. How can I do? I will use this formula I1, I2, R2 and R1. In this method we compare the intensity of this distant star with the intensity of light with the star whose distance is known to us, and known to us, and whenever we put up in this formula we know that R2 can be calculated. And what will be the R2? I1 R1 square divided by I2. So R2, it will be I1 under root I2 multiplied by R1. So by putting the value of I1, I2 and R1, we can calculate the R2. Right? So in this way it can be calculated. Next is size of oleic acid. How we can measure the size of oleic acid? Listen, the size of oleic acid, it is of the order of 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Now first of all, in order to measure the size of oleic acid, we prepare solution of oleic acid in alcohol with concentration of 1/500. Now what we do? Now pour n drops of this solution, each of volume V, over surface of broad vessel. Why we take a broad vessel? So that evaporation of alcohol can take fast. Now if I ask volume of n drops, the volume of each drop is V, so the volume of n drops, it will be the NV, right? And if I ask what is the volume of oleic acid in the solution, it will be NV over 500. Why 500? Because concentration is 1/500. Now this solution of oleic acid separates fast on the surface of water and forms a very thin layer of thickness, let us say the thickness is T. So since it is placed in a broad vessel, so with passage of time, what will happen? Alcohol will evaporate and only oleic acid is left behind, right? Now using trace paper and graph paper, area occupied by oleic acid is found. We put that oleic acid on the graph paper. With the help of graph paper, we find the area occupied by the oleic acid. Now volume of oleic acid is area multiplied by thickness, right? Now we did, this is also volume of this oleic acid, this is 1, this is 2, from 1 and 2, we got A multiplied by T equals to NV over 500. So T equals to NV over 500 multiplied by the A. Right? Now, what we assume? If we assume that film of oleic acid was stretched so that it has thickness of one molecule, then what does this T will give? This T will give the diameter of the oleic acid. If I say this is the oleic acid, if this is the say, thickness, then it will give just the diameter of the oleic acid, thickness of one molecule. Then we can calculate diameter of molecule of oleic acid by above formula. By formula T equals to diameter of oleic acid equals to NV upon 500A. Next is measurement of mass. How we can measure the mass? Listen, measurement of mass is we observe the measurement of mass in our day-to-day life, and mass is a fundamental quantity. It does not depend on temperature, pressure, location of the object in space. Now, how we determine the mass? As far as the small masses are concerned, they are measured by physical balance. We use physical balance. Nowadays electronic balances, they are also in use, and for measuring large masses, let us say if I want to measure the large masses, what I will use? We use gravitational method. For example, if I want to measure the mass of sun, I will use the gravitational masses. And for determining the mass of atoms, molecules, what we use? We use a device called the spectrograph. Next is measurement of time. All of us know measurement of time. Time we measure by means of the clock. Any phenomena which repeats itself can be used as a clock. For example, Earth completes its one rotation in 24 hours, so that can be also used to measure the time. Some people in the ancient time, people used to measure the time looking at the position of the stars in the sky, because that one is periodic one. Nowadays electronic oscillators, solar clocks, quartz crystal clock, atomic clocks, decay of elementary particles, radioactive decay, etc., they can be used to measure the time. So time measurement is a very important. Now there are certain very interesting facts. if I say in this universe the ratio of longest to shortest size in our universe is 10 to the power 41. That is longest object and the shortest object size. If I take, its ratio will be 10 to the power 41. Similarly, if I say the ratio of longest to shortest time interval in our universe, its ratio is again 41. And if I say the ratio of lightest mass to heaviest mass in this universe is 10 to the power 82. And what is 10 to the power 82? It is 10 to the power 41 square. So I can say the product of these two ratios is equal to this ratio. This is a very interesting fact. Thank you and have a nice day. In case if you have any doubt, you can WhatsApp your doubt to me or you can make a call to me. Thank you.